Hey everyone, today I'm going to start a new series called Bench It or Build It. In this series I'm going to try and focus on explaining few heroes of each faction, so eventually covering all heroes in the game and explaining where they are weak, where they are strong, and whether you should build them or bench them. I'm hoping this helps people in terms of decision making and in terms of better understanding the game, or rather the hero. So let's start with Mystifiers. We are going to cover a few of the Mystifier heroes here, and I'm basically going to be doing this by the archives gallery. So starting off, we are going with Bastet. Bastet is a Mystifier, Shadow Arch, and Protector. She is not very used in the late game, however, she has a great potential in the early game. She was quite often used in the Rift Odyssey because of her insane damage control. She has insane damage scaling. When paired with Gaia and Lancelot, this damage can go off the roofs in the early game. So she's quite cheap hero and does the job in the early game, but she starts falling off really hard at around mid game, I would say. I think this hero has a potential in the future. I don't think she's been fully explored, and I don't think she's that bad. Her speed is actually okay. It's not really great. She's really slow for somebody that's supposed to deal damage. Although the game does count her as a support hero, I'm not entirely sure why. When her entire kit is basically applying corrode and dealing increased damage based on the corrode stacks. Although her runes, I think her legendary runes are actually great. Each time a Bastet takes action, she has 100% chance to purify debuffs from 2 random allies. I think this rune effect has potential to actually make Bastet useful, and because we are closing on to the 3 Mystifier teams, I think Bastet could have a slot in one of those teams. Bastet can also double the corrode stacks. When Bastet is deployed, there's 75% chance to double the corrode stacks applied on the enemies. Now this effect, while it's good, I wish it was 100%. Like, she's an old hero, she really deserves something to be guaranteed. I can understand this was an issue in the early game when there were no broken heroes, and Bastet, especially Mystifiers with Franz, were one of the strongest heroes in the early game. But now, if devs would care, I think they should adjust her skills a bit. They should adjust all old heroes, in my opinion, but that probably costs money and doesn't make enough money back to justify it. Now back to the actual topic. She has a unique skill where she applies Ignore Shield effect. Now, no hero in this game apart from Seraphina applies this effect, so this is pretty unique, and it's pretty nice to have it, to keep it in mind that a hero has this. Of course, there's a condition, but this condition is very likely met at the start of the battle. So yeah, I'm going to say that you should build Bastet, but not as a priority. You should build her just when you have excess food and have no actual copies or other main heroes to build. Where you can expect to use Bastet, I use her in Lost City Shadow Arch. She's one of the stronger DPS heroes from the Shadow Arch faction. So I use Bastet, Emily, and Halissa or Mavis most of the times, or Bastet, Emily, and Sandra. So 3 Mystifiers, add Gaia, and add like Pandora, and you can pretty much clear the Shadow Arch. Of course, it varies. There's a Shadow Arch Survival, which you can use Halissa, Sandra, and Mavis. That's 3 monarchs. Sandra increases the percent HP of your allies. So does Halissa with their runes. So there's always a room for improvement. But in my opinion, Bastet isn't one of the worst heroes. She's a pocket hero that maybe someday will shine once again. But yeah, I find her skills quite interesting. So early game, pretty good hero. Weakness is her speed and her overall strength. Like, she can't live up to the current standards of the heroes, and overall, I think you should not build her if you have other better heroes. Refer to the tier list or heroes priority list. There's a lot of information out there that I make, so please use it for the betterment of your own account. So to rewind, her overall usage: Lost City and Rift Odyssey in the early game, as well as PvP in the early game. Her potential use could be in the late game as we get the new Mystifier heroes, but up until then we will see what the future holds. So whether you should build or not, Bastet, in my opinion, build her, but do not focus on her or do not prioritize her over the better and the guaranteed heroes. So next up on the list is Franz, and Franz is one of the weaker heroes right now. He was one of the biggest and baddest heroes in the early game of Omniheroes. Like in the release of Omniheroes, Franz was one of the hardest carries there was. Just looking at his text, you can see he has a pretty big role to fill in the early game where Omniheroes didn't have heroes such as Gaia, Mulan. So as of right now, the issue with Franz, you can just look at his speed. It's pretty bad. It's like one of the slowest heroes in the game. So he never gets to take his action to actually do something, even though he basically increases the damage of Corrode by just deploying him. While you can use this in the early game, he will fall off very fast, and Lancelot at just 6 stars does this at 200%, so he's very weak, very easy to replace. His runes are actually great, but the issue is you can't use the stun part because he's so slow, like 97 speed. If he applies stun, he's basically the last to cast in the battle, and applying that 1 round stun is basically going to be wasted. So if he was faster, or if this was a 2 round stun, maybe he could see some potential, but as of right now, he truly has no usage, and you will just keep him benched. So don't build Franz, keep him benched. Next up on the list is Emily. Emily is one of the better EV heroes. She does the damage, she does the extra corrode. She's okay in speed, could be better, but we're not gonna complain about that. So main usage of Emily is her runes. When you go to her runes, you will see just at epic she will apply 5 stacks of corrodes to all enemies. Now this is 5 corrodes per each ally, so 5 times 5, 25 corrode stacks. So instead of 25 corrode stacks, enemy will start with 50, and this is quite often enough to just pop the enemy or two, especially in the early game. I think her epic runes in the early game are quite strong and perhaps underrated. You really want to build her, but not over other better heroes. Like, you will gain her passively. She's not a rare hero at all. She's easy to pick up from selector cards. Like, the issue is she shares same rarity as a Trupus, and you want a Trupus over her anytime. So you will build her slowly. She's a higher priority than Bastet in my opinion, so definitely build her, and build her slowly. She also increases the limit of corrode stacks by 5, which is another great thing about her. She does pretty nice damage and applies corrode stacks, and she heals all allies, which can be useful in the seasonal content for hunters. Although Mystifier synergy alone heals them to max pretty much all the time, so it's pretty negligible in that content. So overall, you will use Emily in PvP, you will use her in PvE, such as Rift Odyssey, you will use her in Lost City, maybe even in missions in some cases, but I haven't had that chance. Overall, build her and she's great. So that's about it. I'm going to try cover about 3 to 5 heroes depending on how long the video takes. But as of right now, I'm going to start with 3. So in the next Mystifiers video, we are going to cover Sandra, Ossie, and Minotaur. However, in the next video, we are going to cover Alice, Ashlyn, and Christine. So I'm going to basically follow the patterns of the gallery, and we are going to be going from weaker heroes to stronger heroes as time goes by. Hopefully this series does good. I'm hoping it makes people learn more about the heroes. Maybe I will say some stuff that you already know, you might find it boring, but I'm trying to make this series mostly for the beginners, in my opinion. So yeah, that's about it. On top of that, I would also like to thank you for watching this video. So if you have been till the end, please feel free to comment, as I will be picking winners for the current week giveaway. I won't announce this is like a hidden giveaway in a way, so only those who have fully watched the video will be able to participate, or rather would know that they have to comment something. Literally anything doesn't matter, so as long as you comment something, you will have a chance to win. So thank you again for watching, and see you in the next video.